We move through the world assuming our opinions are our own. We believe our sense of right and wrong comes from rational, independent thought, but humans are designed to seek the comfort of the herd. We look at what is currently socially acceptable and mistake that local consensus for absolute moral truth. This explains why politicians rarely look like visionaries. Their primary goal is survival, which means they can only safely stand on the ground the public has already cleared for them. This is the Overton window, an invisible mental fence that creates our reality. Ideas inside the frame are normal, while everything outside is dismissed as insane. Until you understand who is moving that fence, your beliefs are merely the result of standing exactly where the window tells you to be. The spectrum of possibility moves through 6 distinct stages. At the center is policy. As you move outward, ideas transition from popular to sensible, then acceptable, then radical, and finally, at the furthest edge, unthinkable. This window is never static. It slides across the yardstick of time, ensuring that the taboos of one generation are transformed into the laws of the next. In the early 20th century, the mainstream consensus was that women should be denied the right to vote. At that time, suggesting otherwise was seen as a radical threat to the social order, and those who protested for suffrage were often ostracized. But as the fringe movement gained momentum, it dragged the window with it. What was once unthinkable eventually became undeniable policy. We see the same mechanism at work in our modern diet. Today, our consumption of meat is framed as a sensible, everyday norm. Yet, a century from now, as the window continues its slide, future societies may look back at this exact dinner table and view our current habits as barbaric.
Morality is rarely a fixed point. It is a reflection of whichever era's window you were born into. The Overton window is not moved by polite requests. It is forcefully dragged by external pressure and calculated radicalism. Consider the radical flank effect. To make a moderate change palatable, you often have to start with an extreme demand. If you propose a 10% tax increase, it might seem radical. But if a fringe group demands a 90% tax, that same 10% proposal suddenly looks like a sensible compromise. Crisis acts as a crowbar. In moments of extreme fear, pandemics, wars, or economic collapse, the window shatters entirely. A sudden financial crash can rewrite the rules of reality in days. Policies viewed as insane on a Monday become standard operating procedure by Friday. Millions are forced to instantly adapt to a new set of rules and survival methods, regardless of what they believed just a week prior. The political center never actually creates change. It simply occupies the territory that was violently carved out by fringe radicals and sudden disasters. If the boundaries of your morality are defined by radical manipulation and historical accidents, you have to ask, who actually owns your mind? If you have never held an opinion deemed radical by your peers, you aren't thinking freely. You are just standing exactly where society told you to stand. Breaking out of this trap requires subjecting your convictions to a rigorous internal examination. Start by stripping away the calendar. Ask yourself, would I still hold this belief if I lived a century ago or a century in the future? If your logic changes with the date, it's a social byproduct, not a truth. Next, evaluate your own fear. Are you rejecting an idea because it is factually wrong, or because you recognize the social cost of agreeing with it? If fear of isolation dictates your logic, the window owns you. Finally, look at the sensible ground you occupy. Every compromise is anchored by an extreme. If you cannot see the radical demands pulling your perception of the middle, you aren't choosing your ground. You are being led to it. True intellectual freedom is impossible until you choose to step outside the invisible fence that society built for you.